Any person associated with the Kenyan education system, at least those who are alive today, they have been taught by a P1. And the government is phrasing out P1. I'm even told that this was supposed to be the last group of P1. But they discovered that some areas, which I'll not name, if you have to place there the qualification of a diploma in primary education, then it means that some areas, arid areas, you will get almost nobody. So I think there is a plan to have one TTC specifically to train P1 from those arid areas. Then everybody knows about P1, but very few people know about why it is called P1. Here is the reason. We are demystifying P1. Well, P1 means primary grade 1. Just like district officers, we had DO3, DO2, and DO1. That is district officer grade 1. So we have primary teachers grade 1, that is P1. We used to have primary teachers grade 2 up to grade 4. That is P1, P2, P3, P4. But they started eliminating P4. Then later on, they eliminated P3. Then they eliminated P2. And for about 50 years now, we have been churning out only P1. Now, they have said that they are going to churn out people with those who enter TTC with the better certificates, and also the syllabus of TTC has been changed. In that, P1, I think P1 they used to take, is it a C minus or a D plus? And imagine somebody with a D plus attending a TTC for 2 years. And on the other hand, imagine somebody with a C plane attending a course for 3 years. So this diploma is more deeper and more thorough. Diploma in primary education. But as I said, in some arid areas, it will be a challenge, and I've even said how it will be challenged. We used to have P1, P2, P3, P4. But then, they started deleting P4 first, then they deleted P3, P2, and for over 50 years, we have just been churning out P1, which is now being slowly phrased out. Now, how do you get P4? P1. P1, I'll not start bottom up. I'll not start from bottom, I'll start top up. Top bottom. If you completed Form 4, and wanted to be a teacher, whatever you got, actually it was a D, because that was Division 4, and you wanted to be a teacher, primary school teacher, you'd go and come out as a P1. That is primary level 1, just like district officer level 1. If you completed your school in Form 2, we used to have a certificate called Kenya Junior Secondary Examination. That is why junior school have been renamed. You know, they started calling it junior secondary, and then they remembered that we used to have a certificate of Form 2 called Kenya Junior Secondary Examination, KJC. So if you completed Form 2 and joined, at TTC, you will be seated next to somebody who completed Form 4, but upon your graduation, you are graded as P2 and your colleague will be P1. You'll be doing the same job, you have been trained the same. The only difference is salary, and the other difference is responsibilities. Should there be a vacancy for a head teacher or such things, the P1 will be given that opportunity. Say the P2 can only be given if he has spent over 20 years or something like that. So that is P2 if you completed in Form 2. But when you completed in Form 2 and became a teacher, are trained as a teacher, and you are made a P2 and you are teaching, then through one way, is it correspondence or private registration or anything like that, or even you take a study leave and sit for your Form 4 exams, all levels, ordinary levels. If you did your Form 4 privately after being a P2, immediately you pass that exam, then you go to the nearest education office with both your certificate and a photocopy of it. You produce it to your education officer, who then takes the photocopy and sends it to the headquarters for your salary, for you to be upgraded to be now a P1. Your upgrading will be with effect from the day you sat your exam. Now this is a person who completed Form 2, became a P2, taught even for 10 years, then did his Form 4 privately and passed it, and then he was promoted to be a P1. That is Form 2, Kenya Junior Secondary. Now, previously we used to have Standard 8. Then we had 7, then we had 8. The initial 8, you did your Standard 8 exam, it used to be called KAPE, Kenya African Preliminary Examination, Kenya African Preliminary Examination. You do that, you go to a TTC, you graduate, you become a P3, You have completed Standard 8, you go and do the TTC, you become a P3. Now here is a scenario where two people, left and right, they completed Standard 8. They went to a TTC, they were made P3 teachers. One of them, Mr. Left, goes to do his Kenya Junior examination, Form 2. And Mr. Right goes to do his Form 4 East African Certificate of Education. They both pass. When they both pass, the one who did his O-level Form 4 will be promoted from P3 to P1. And his colleague who did Standard 8 but now came and did Kenya Junior Secondary Form 2, he'll be promoted to P2. Maybe at a future later day, he may also do another exam and be promoted to be a P1. So people used to be encouraged to just do it straight. The same applies to somebody who completed Standard 4. Standard 4, there was an exam that was called CEE. Not CPE, but CEE. Charlie for C, Echo for E, Echo for E. It was Common Entry Examination. You could repeat Standard 4 forever until the day you pass is when you go to Standard 5. Now, anybody who passes Common Entry Examination and goes to a TTC, he becomes a P4. Now, I've given an example of how somebody, if you are okay, for you to do Form 4, you must have a CP, a Standard 8. So somebody who was a P4 like Daniel Arap Moi had to do another CAPE to be granted as P3, and then from there you can, if you want, you can just do direct P1. But when Standard 8 was removed in 1967-68, and we had Standard 7, which was now CPE. You know, you people did KCPE, remove the K. We did what is called Certificate of Primary Education. Now, when you did your Certificate of Primary Education, you could still go to TTC and become a P3. You see, when they removed the Standard 4 exams, P4 died a natural course. And then, later on, P3 died a natural course because of the forces of nature. TTC wants 200 students. 500 have applied their form 4. Sasa wewe na hiyo CP yako utatokea wapi? So nature of force, demand and supply killed P3. P2 was killed because when, I don't know when the Form 2 exam was terminated. So it just terminated, the exam died, and so the certificate also died. As we speak now, I'm made to understand that if you go to a TTC, you'll find that there are some classes which has been set aside for P1 teachers who want to be upgraded to diploma teachers. Now, I don't know what criteria they are using, because in life, in training, you are even allowed to have alternative qualification. Yes, you could be a Form 2 person, KJC, and you want to be a diploma in education. They can assume that the number of years, because maybe you have taught for 25 years, the number of years you have taught is what we call alternative qualifications. That one I've cleared with primary. Do you know that even in secondary we used to have S1, S2? I don't know about S3. When I joined Nairobi Technical for my Form 1, we had teachers who were S1. We had teachers who were diploma in secondary education. And we had teachers who were A levels, KACE. Now this KACE are teachers who, whenever they are on long holiday, remember, if you're in a government-sponsored university, there's a time you stay at home for over 4 months. That's way you could go to a nearest school to teach. Now, this one did not apply for those who are going to be teachers. No, this one used to be apply for students who would want pocket money, because you'd even find those who are training to be doctors and engineering doing so. Then we come to diploma. We had teachers who, upon completing Form 4, they went to Diploma Teachers College. We had Seriba. Seriba is now called Maseno University. We had Kenya Science. We had Kagumo. There were 4 or 5. So from Form 4, you went and became a diploma teacher. That one you teach just in secondary school. You are on the same scale with an S1. Now S1, after completing Form 6, S1 went to a normal TTC to train with Kina Pivot. And that is an S1. But a diploma teacher went to a diploma college. He never stepped in Form 5. Remember, he never stepped in Form 5. He's a Form 4 who went for diploma. And this is a Form 6 who went to an ordinary. So it used to be seen that they were of the same scale. I never found a teacher who taught to me or who was a member of the staff when he or she was an S2. But I have several. Actually, there is one we visited last year. Alumni, we visited one of our teachers, who was an S1. So I was never taught by an S2, but was taught by S1. I was also taught by a diploma teacher at Bungoma High, Mr. Jibuakale. Jibuakale was a diploma in Kiswahili, but we used to have a problem with him because according to the TSC, diploma teachers and even S1 were only supposed to teach up to Form 4. But since Bungoma High did not have a graduate Swahili teacher, Mr. Jibuakale taught us. But we did not fail him because the Swahili class of that year performed well. Now you know.